Hi everyone, thanks for checking out another InfoSec Hub video. Today we're going to talk about common types of attack vectors. And attack vectors are all these different kind of methods, how to take over a computer, take over an account, basically hacking a device, hacking an account, taking over accounts. So let me start by viruses. Virus has been around for very, very long, and they used to spread by floppy disks, USB drives, but now with the internet, when everything is connected, it's way easier to spread. A virus is just a malicious piece of software. It can slow down your computer. It can take over resources of your computer. Usually it's controlled also from a central place, like command and control servers, the same as malware. These are just malicious pieces of software, and viruses can be, the sole purpose of a virus could be just to spread, so it spreads over the internet to many, many hosts, computers, and that could be the sole purpose of it. And it's malicious from nature. So usually there's no financial gains there. It's just spreading and maybe even, destroying the operating system, making sure that certain applications don't work anymore. It's just a nuisance. It's just annoying. Malware, on the other hand, is also, it's the same type of malicious software. It also uses command and control servers, so that the attacker will have access to your computer. Malware can be used also to infect your computer and take over, let's say, your email application. It could perhaps copy all the email addresses from your address book. It can infect certain files. Maybe malware is written to lock down all your Excel sheets, so you cannot work anymore in the morning. Those kind of things. It's malicious from nature. Malware can also be used to lock down files, and then when you want to use it again, you need to pay a certain amount of money. Then it's more like ransomware. But these types of attacks happen on a daily basis. Viruses and malware, they spread usually through email. In the email, there are potential links that can direct you to a page or to a location where this virus or malware can be downloaded. And as soon as it's downloaded, then it starts to spread through your address book or, Teams or any kind of application, basically, where you can connect with other people and thus other computers. Brute force attacks are different. They usually are targeted at accounts. They are used to brute force your way into an account, try different kind of password combinations at an enormous high rate. So if you don't have an account lockout, let's say for instance that after 5 tries your account locks down, and you can have an infinite number of tries, then these brute force attacks can be successful because they use a whole dictionary of commonly used passwords, and they just try it and they keep on trying it, and they do that at maybe, let's say, 1,000 tries a second. They just keep on trying until they get something, and then they're in. And when they're in, they report back to the attacker, and then this attacker will then take his time to take a look, log in, and see what kind of damage he can do. Then we have the API, which is usually how software communicates to each other. Applications communicate over the API, or web application exploitations. Let's say, for instance, that you have a login screen where you fill in your username and your password. This is actually an interaction between the user and the database, because in the database is stored your username and password. And this way you do an authentication. Databases have their own kind of language. So if you do, let's say, an SQL injection, a SQL injection, and with the if the web application is not protected, then with a certain query, you can get more information than the application should show, because you basically directly talking to the database to give you information that you're not allowed to see, but the database responds to your query, and this way you can also exploit. Maybe you can even go as far to get a database dump of all the users, including passwords. It happened in the past, and it's still happening to this day. Everyone that does web development, they are familiar with OWASP, Open Web Application Security Project, and they have a top 10 of things that your web application should have when it comes to security, and this SQL injection is, I think, in the top 3. So when you have a web app website, you should also take this into account. Well, viruses, malware, ransomware, they can spread through email attachments. A lot of times the macros in Excel or OneNote, they can be exploited. So you say that you share, for instance, an important file and you send it to someone within finance, and it's an Excel sheet full of the latest numbers, what the company is doing. So it looks legit. It also comes from a person that works in finance. So like the average user thinks, okay, this is okay. They click on the link, they download the attachment, they open it, and something within this Excel file triggers installing a virus, malware, ransomware. You have it. This is all possible. Okay, then we have the compromised credentials. This could simply mean that a brute force attack was successful and they have your login. They're basically in there. They can use your account, and from your account they can hop to all the company resources. Maybe they can even give themselves elevated privileges, become an admin, and can even do more damage. But compromised credentials is basically your aft. Your account is now accessible for everyone who has an internet connection. There can also be a session token that was stolen. And nowadays, also within my job, I can see that when this happens, that's basically the precursor for an attack. Sometimes these attacks come from different parts of the world than where the user lives in, and that's a big red flag. So compromised credentials, stolen tokens, it's very common, and it happens on a daily basis. A little bit less technical is the social engineering attack. That's really basically the hacking of the human being, creating a story, creating certain urgency that the user is giving out more information that he ideally would like to, if you would think twice, and with this information then can be used against him or the user. Maybe you can guess the password, maybe you can let him do certain things with his account that he's not allowed to do, but you create a certain urgency in which this user thinks, oh, I have to do this because my boss asked me, or I just want to be of service, and in that way they basically do things that only benefit the attacker, the person that they basically talk to, and they get through that way. Then we have the full account takeover. Even if you have, for instance, multi-factor authentication, you have an authenticator app, or you have a text message coming in as a code to verify that it's you. A full account takeover is they're in the system, they're in your account, and with that account comes certain rules and responsibilities, of course, roles, I should say. Based on your role, you have access to various company resources, and they can do whatever they want. They can email all those things towards themselves, certain documents, let's say passports or financial information. They can copy your inbox from email, send it all a different way, or they can let you send out certain emails because maybe you're a CFO or CEO, and they can email the rest of the company with certain requests. And since it's coming from the CEO, it creates certain urgency. There's a hierarchy thing there. So maybe the average user would say, hey, it's the CEO asking me something. I do this. Whatever he asks me, I do it. So that's a bit of social engineering with an account takeover combined. Then we have phishing. This happens on a daily basis as well. That's still one of the most common ways of attacking a person, because email is so common nowadays, and we can also, I see this on a daily basis. They even you have like a real email from Microsoft and you have a phishing email from Microsoft. They almost look the same. But Microsoft won't often put links in their emails, and phishing mails do, because they have this whole text basically leading up to you clicking this link and then something happens. Phishing can be filtered if you use if you use Microsoft, for instance. They have a big database of all the addresses and all the ways that phishers are constructing these emails. They do a check on the links, sender, IP addresses. It's all in a global database. So when you use Microsoft Exchange, you have something called Microsoft Exchange Online Protection, which is basically a spam filter with global knowledge of every big company reporting spam and phishing. It's being added to a certain block list, and every user or every company, I should say, that uses this product can benefit from that. Then we have the DDoS attack. It's also been around for many years, and that's basically, let's say, for instance, you have a web server, and this web server can handle 100 requests a second. And now it's being increased to 10,000 requests, and this web server is not built to handle that. So we have DDoS, distributed denial of service, and it's distributed because it's all about traffic. And in this particular case, it's web traffic. So all the infected hosts that have malware on them, for instance, they can be controlled from a command and control server. And when the attackers say, okay, this is the target, this web server I want to target, and he initiates the attack, that means all the infected hosts are now sending all these requests. And let's say you have 1,000 hosts that are infected and sending traffic to this web server. It crashes the web server. So denial of servers. This happens still frequently. We saw that last couple of months also because of the Ukraine-Russia war. This is just a way to cripple the infrastructure. So because the server is not available anymore, if there's a government website or a news website reporting certain critical information that the enemy don't want you to see, he could launch a DDoS attack and make sure that the infrastructure is crippled. There's no more servers. It cannot be used anymore. So that's also a way. It's a malicious way to deal with the infrastructure websites. You have it. If you have a big company, let's say for instance Facebook, you could DDoS it and it's no longer available. You do have DDoS protection nowadays. There are ways to distribute this traffic over multiple web servers with a load balancer, but there are also very smart software products that can detect a DDoS attack based on certain patterns, and they can just block the IP. So, with a firewall, for instance, so that traffic will not reach the server no more, because they see there's a certain pattern, they see it's not legitimate traffic, and they just shut down the flow of information, and thus saving the resource, the server in this case. So you have several attack vectors that could, do something with an account, with a machine, and these are the most common ones. So I hope this was interesting for you. If you have any more questions with this, or maybe what you could do to prevent it, please let me know, give me a comment, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.